Hello everybody, welcome to Paradise Wildlife Park. My name is Ian, I'm the section leader of large carnivores here at the zoo, and we are here today with our Land of the Tigers habitat with our lovely tigers, Alina and Siberia, and Cassie, our wonderful keeper. Welcome to another episode of Behind the Zoo. So today what Cassie is going to be doing is doing lots of different training sessions with our two beautiful girls. She's currently teaching them to wait so we can have cooperative feeding. Naturally these species would normally have their own food and they don't like to share. Pretty much the same with most cat species. But what we're trying to do is to teach them to eat closely together without showing aggression with each other, and then we're going to just reward it. Also, we have to move these two tigers over so that we can service the enclosure and look after our fish that live in with the two tigers in that enclosure. So what we do is we have to move them over to this section of the enclosure, and they don't really like coming through the hatches close together and then being rewarded. So what we taught Alina to do was sit nice and calmly, give it a wait signal with a cue while we go and reward her sister, and that meant another keeper can shut the hatches without the two girls kind of getting annoyed with each other or showing any bad behaviours that we don't want to exhibit. They've learnt this really quickly. It probably took Cassie around 2 weeks to teach them this behaviour, and it works really, really well. And as you can see, Alina sits there nice and calmly while we can move Siberia around. We also have our tunnel area here. This has got the weighing scales in, so we just set the scales up whenever we want to weigh them, and we just walk them through the tunnel from the house back out into the exhibit, and we just stop them on the scale so that we can actually get their weight. These two girls weigh about 125 kilo each, so they're a pretty good weight, but that's about an average size for the Amur tigers, which is what this species are. So we've also taught some other behaviours for the tigers as well. One of them is to open their mouth. Now, so Alina doesn't do it quite as well as Siberia. Alina tends to open her mouth really quickly and close it again. So what we're trying to teach her at the moment is to hold it open for a bit more duration. But Siberia here has learnt this behaviour quite well, and she opens her mouth until she hears the whistle. So a lot of people often ask about how we're training these cats. Most people struggle with their own pet dogs, and yet we're asking for quite complex behaviours, I suppose, with wild animals here at the zoo. So the whistle that you can hear is what we call a bridge. This basically bridges the gap between the behaviour that we're asking for and us giving a reward. So she's learnt that if she hears the whistle, she knows she's done the correct behaviour, and then she knows to expect a reward straight after that. This is what we call, it's an operant conditioning or positive reinforcement. Positive reinforcement works really well with all of our animals when we're training them, because it basically means when they do something good, we get to give them a treat. And they soon learn then to repeat behaviours over and over again, so that we can train these kind of husbandry requirements. One of the other positions that Cassie just got Siberia in there was to lie down close to the fence, and she has to push her back leg against the mesh. This is for injection training, so just like your pets at home, we give them vaccinations every year against various different diseases that they might contract, and this helps just vaccinate them against those. It builds up a nice immune system for them to hopefully stop them getting any bad diseases or anything that we don't want them to get. This behaviour has to have the tigers pushing their leg against the mesh. So that means it's safe for us to then touch them, and if they feel uncomfortable at any point, all they need to do is pull their leg away. And again, she's given a verbal command. Sometimes you'll hear these cues as well as the bridge and whistle, and that's just letting her know that if she hears the word contact, she's about to feel a touch, so it doesn't just surprise her when we poke her on the back of her leg. So that works really well as well. This same position can be used in the tunnel so that we can actually hook their tails underneath. For big cats, there's a very good way for us to draw blood is from the base of their tail. They have three kind of main veins or arteries that come down through there into the base of the tail. And if we can hook her tail out, the tail's on our side of the fence, and any point she feels uncomfortable, again, she can just whip it back in. We use a snake hook, just pull the tail out so it's safe for us. We get them slowly used to the vibrations of a shaver. Shave a bit of fur off, find the vein, and then hopefully the idea is that we can draw blood. This is a lot better than having to knock them out every single time that we want to get blood samples from them or anything like that. Now these two girls, I'd love to say that they are ready for blood draws. they're not quite there, but it's a behaviour that we're training, and it's an ongoing process with them. And you often find with their own personalities that they're going to be slightly different with each of them, how they respond to training, but also weather, times of the year, how much they're feeding and eating can also play a part in how interested they are as well. But it works really, really well. As you can see, when we want to train one at a time, we can just move one into the tunnel area. Alina has sat lovely in here, nice and calm, waiting for her session. Siberia's just had her own personal session, now she's moving away. The idea is that you would now let Alina out and Alina can have a personal session as well. So with our cooperative feeding and all the behaviours that we teach them on their own in their own sessions, we're hopefully improving their welfare and improving their husbandry. Thank you all for watching this episode of Behind the Zoo with Cassie and our amazing tigers, and we'll see you at the next one.